We have Clark. Hey man, how's it going? How's Tampa?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So Clark, give us a 2-minute background. How did you get to Borty, one of the hottest AI and voice companies right now, at least, as far as I can see, not just on LinkedIn, but across the board. A lot of people really signing up to enhance and experience Borty. But talk to me a little bit about your background first, so that we get to the point where we are right now on the go-to-market side on Borty.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a pretty diverse background. I started my career fresh out of college. I started a business and did that for 2 years, and then pivoted into a sales role after a while and got to learn about what sales is like. After that, I worked in VC for a little bit and kind of got to understand the VC world.
Very
And
nice.
after and then from there, I jumped into a software growth and marketing role at a startup called Reveal, based out of Paris, and that really gave me an insight into what a startup is run, or how a startup is run, and what it's like to work at a tech startup in general. And so, and kind of experience what a growth role is like, right? Like what a B2B marketing role entails, what the operations are, what the tools are, what a tech stack is, and all everything in between. So really cool team. After that, I jumped into worked for an e-commerce agency. Actually, did like business development and B2B marketing as well. And then from there, I joined Boardy off of a cold DM on LinkedIn. I DM'd our head of ops, Joita, who is the nicest person in the world, and decided to give me 30 minutes of her time to chat. And she introduced me to Andrew, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I just kind of vibed with the team, and been rocking ever since. So it's been great.
That's awesome. Uh, Also, give a 1 minute about Bordy, just for folks that
Yeah.
most of the people that may not know about Bordy. What is it? Why is it? Why is it so different than anything else I've experienced in these? I use it almost every week.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. It's super cool. So Borty is an AI super connector. That's what we call him, right? He is a central node for a larger community of, excuse me, around 45 to 50,000 individuals, and the network skews towards the tech side, but it's super diverse, right? And there's a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. And essentially, the process goes: you DM Bordy on LinkedIn, and he'll call you. You send him your phone number, he gives you a call. You have like a 5 to 15 minute chat with him, and it's not awkward. Like a lot of people think, talking with an AI is awkward, but he leads the conversation. It's quite endearing, quite charming. And
And
then
he's got
after
an
the
Australian
conversation,
accent, which makes it all the
he
more
does,
endearing.
he does. It's pretty fun. So after the call, he'll ask you, "Hey, is there anybody I could introduce you to?" And then he'll make a suggestion, and he'll say, "Cool. Is it cool if I send over an email to introduce you and this person?" You say yes, and so you opt in. Then he sends over an email to that person and ask if he'll brief that person on you, your background, and then they'll opt in. Then he'll send an email introduction between the both of you, and he'll say, "Hey, person A, you should meet person B. This is why you guys would get along," and then you guys take it from there. So he makes introductions to people who would have otherwise may not have been connected.
Awesome. So, what is the marketing challenge that you find? Bordy is obviously, would you call it a B2 professional consumer network? It's not like LinkedIn. It's not like
No,
Twitter. It's not like anything else, but it also has elements of AI. What are the challenges you're facing with marketing, Bordy? Because that's one of the things you're chartered with doing, right?
yeah, absolutely. So I would I would consider him a B2C. Is It's a B2C, I guess, tool, for lack of a better term. We don't really like calling him a tool because we build a personality into him, but it's a B2C product versus in operating in a B2B environment, right? So a lot of the end users are professionals, founders, entrepreneurs, investors, advisors, operators. Um, but unlike any other tool, like, or any other platform like LinkedIn, which also connects people, there's no platform, there's no interface, there's no nothing to click, nothing to sign up. There's no nothing like that. it's a phone call. The whole experience is voice, and we try to position it so that he reflects the actions of like a friend. It's like your friend that knows everybody, right? So you're not going to sign up to go talk with your friend. You're not going to, pay a fee to go have a chat with a friend. You're going to send him a DM. You're going to send him your phone number. And say, hey, give me a call. You're going to have a chat with him, and then he's going to remember you and be like, hey, actually, my friend Clark, you guys should connect. You guys should meet. I think you guys would get along. So that's kind of I think the biggest difference between us and LinkedIn or any other matchmaking network is the user experience. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think the interesting part that when I first started, this was about 3 months ago when I started calling Borty, talking to Borty. I've had some connections that were very surprising, good in a good way, and some of them turned into opportunities. Some of them just continue to remain in contact. But if you look at it from a trying to get adoption for Bordy, what is the things that you think about in terms of your go-to-market strategy? And let's talk a little bit about Bordy himself, if I could call it that,
Yeah.
is an
Yeah.
AI platform.
Hmm.
So we want to talk a little bit about AI and marketing, but how are you thinking about your go-to-market strategy for Bordy? How do you get to the point where you get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of users using the platform? And how are you optimizing for that?
Yeah. So it takes a lot of creativity. We are essentially what we're kind of doing. We're refining it every day, right? Like we're always testing different things. We're always trying to see what works, see what doesn't. But with Borty, we're almost building a personal brand, right? In this age of like AI agents and AI products, I really think the ones that are going to win and stand out are the ones that are going to develop characters or character interfaces, right? That have some sort of personality, have a face to it, and people can resonate with, because ultimately you're going to be talking to these chatbots and these AI tools and platforms. So it makes it a little bit more friendly and usable if they have a face, if they have a personality, if they have some distinctive characteristics. So that's one of the things that we're really trying to build into Bordy, is build him, a character. Like we have a character Bible.
Yeah,
We have a writer on team who helps build who like a screenwriter on team who builds the personality. We're now having him introduced into podcasts and put out thought leadership content. So we're really trying to build his personal brand so people can see him as like, hey, this is somebody or something or somebody who I would actually want to talk to. It's not just like a tool. It's like a partner. It's a coworker. It's a colleague. It's a friend. And I think leading with that is something unique that catches people's eye, right? Like the biggest story was when we did our seed round where, we said, Bordy raised his own seed round
$10 million
of
seed round. Yeah, yeah.
$8 million,
That was
dollars,
big
right?
news. That was big news at that time, a month ago or 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we were thinking about it. A lot of companies raise their round and do their big announcement. Um, and it doesn't make as big of a splash as that did. And we think, or we kind of attribute that to the story behind it, right? It's not just, hey, Bordy raises 8 million. It's an AI raised 8 million all by itself. And that's what really caught people's eyes. So it's more of that storytelling narrative and that character building narrative that we're trying to lean into, and continuously build on, right? So doing different activations that kind of paint that picture as Bordy as a thought leader and everything that I mentioned before.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that we see, character or AI, Meta is trying to build their own. A lot of stuff
Hmm.
with AI, as you correctly pointed out, needs to have a personality, needs to have a character, because it seems that, even ChatGPT initially was a little bit more banal, but now it's forming a
Hmm.
personality
It's getting
depending
more
on
fun.
how. Yeah, and also it depends on, it tries to reflect that into a certain extent, your personality. And if so, or the personality you want to interact with, let me put it that way. When you look at these solutions and the challenge now, let's say that you try and put out content, like you said, podcasts and things of that nature as well. In the age of AI-driven content, where a lot of it is just overwhelmingly not very great, there is a lot
Hmm.
of human involved to be able to guide how you get to that point where it is really magical, as opposed to just, okay, seems like this was written by AI. How are you guys navigating that?
Yeah. Um, it takes a lot of iterations, right, to get the right voice, to get the right tone. A lot of it comes down to the principles that you bake into the bot, how you train it, the content that you train it on, and the characteristics that you give it, but also um, you the depends on the person who you're talking to, right? So we have now, I mean, we have infinite amount of resources at our fingertips. So we can do research on the person who we're
Yeah.
talking to, and usually it's an individual, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if ChatGPT is doing some deep research on me on the back end and saying, who is Clark? What's he like? What's he do? What's his past? And then tailoring the experience to everything that it knows about me. So just from doing a Google search or looking at different profiles, so the user experience is becoming more and more customized because we have all these resources to deep research and um, online materials. So I think it's gonna drift in that direction where the um, everybody's gonna feel like they have their own custom bot,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think a lot of the best tools are gonna try to capitalize on that and make everybody feel super super special. Um, and I think people will naturally drift towards those tools that do that. It'll feel almost subconscious, right? A lot of people have noted that they feel uh, like they let their guard down with Borty because he has a charming element to him. He's kind of calming. He's kind of like he doesn't judge you. He's easy to talk to. So creating those unique experiences combined with character element, I think will be really powerful, right?
Tell me a little bit about how you use AI yourself. I'm sure you use a lot of different
Yeah,
solutions, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, or maybe specialized ones. What does your AI stack look like?
yeah, absolutely. My favorite tool in the world is Clay. Are you familiar with Clay?
I am. A lot of people are, but feel free to say how you use Clay because I I'm I wouldn't say I'm an advanced user of Clay. I tend to use it more for enrichment, but that's only a portion of what it does. You can do really
Yeah,
slick automations. I don't use it as much as I would like to because I just don't use it as much. But yeah, how do you use it?
yeah, absolutely. So I'll use it for a host of different things, but one of my favorite things is using it to reply to tweets as Borty, right? So we'll get I'll feed a tweet into a Clay automation, and it will um, capture the tweet. It'll then do deep research on the person who posted it, give complete context over what they're doing, who they are, and what the content, and then it'll give a summary of the tweet, and it'll go research all these different variables. Then it'll input the variables into a custom prompt where I'll say, hey, okay, cool. Based off of this information, respond to this tweet as Borty, and then it will spin up a reply to the tweet based off of who they're talking to, what it knows about the person, some unique details that'll mention their company or their recent activities or something, and it'll feel like a really personalized tweet or reply that will ideally get some engagement and start a conversation. So you can use it for it feels like anything's possible with Clay and 8N. Clay and N8N are probably my two favorite platforms for
Mhm.
automations and workflow building. Um, you can do almost anything. You can build almost anything, and then plus Lovable, of course, for front end. If you want to create like some sort of operation portal where you can like approve tweets or uh, review different ideas for content. You can click ship or reject or whatever, um, and then you then can basically build your own no code automation software for shipping tweets or for creating content or doing anything else you need to do.
That's what's becoming the new marketer now, right? It's someone that
Yeah.
knows N8N or
Hmm.
Play or any of those other solutions I should be able to do stuff without having a developer help me
Yeah.
do it. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two, I should be able to create without having the need to say, oh, I need all these other additional resources. I need a designer, I need a copywriter, I need all of that. And then the third part of it is, okay, I need to leverage the distribution mechanisms that already exist. One of the things I keep talking about to my team is don't start with content, start with distribution. Figure out
Hmm.
who can help you distribute this first and why is it important to them, and take the what you wanted to say and tweak it so that they say it because they want to, as opposed to because you're forcing them to, or because it's a relationship or something like that, right? So if you look at the new marketer, let's say in your particular case, if you were to give yourself 5 years and say, okay, Clark, in 5 years, this is the marketing kind of ideal marketing person that would exist, what all would that encompass? What would that person's skill set be like?
Yeah, I think a lot of those a lot of those qualities will directly apply to today's world as well, you know, and I think that's going to be really savvy with no code automations, no code workflows, with the N8Ns, with the clays, with GPTs, APIs, so that you can create creative assets off of like ideally off of just an idea, right? Ideally, I can enter a concept into one endpoint and it'll spit out 10 variations of that concept, of that creative concept, and another endpoint that I can then ship to either Facebook ads, or I can ship to LinkedIn ads, or I can ship to an email sequence, or I can send DMs, or I can do any of the host of things. And right now, most of that's possible. I can't even imagine where we're going to be in 5 years. It's going to be like insane. Um, but right now, yeah, ideal marketer skills are going to be no code automations, creative. At the same time, though, you know, that'll get more and more commoditized. So creativity will still shine through, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
We have one of the most creative guys I've ever worked with, this guy Nick on our team, who's always coming up with these crazy ideas. And one of my favorite things is to try, you know, help him implement these ideas and make them actually come to life. So we'll do like we'll ship the Boardy box heads, right? We ship these little Boardy cardboard box heads with a template and like a custom card with notes from their call on the note card. We shipped like 200 of them to people all around the country, all around the world, actually. And so then they have a piece of tangible, you know, product that feels like they're building. They, you know, they put it together, they tape it, and it feels like they have a piece of the company in their hands,
yeah.
which is really exciting, really cool.
And
So
it's a vested interest as well, right?
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of room for creativity still, but I think the analytical, the guys who are able to match that creativity with the skills of building these workflows that just make things more efficient. Um, it feels like there's no excuse now to not be. There's no bottlenecks in development or creative development, like with Oro image creation now, and all these other cool video tools. And like I think 5 years, the video tools are really going to be dialed in, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the Leonardo AI, the Kling, the Crea, all these other tools are just going to be so advanced. You're going to be able to write short stories and actually produce them in like one shot, theoretically. So I think that's really the next big jump that we'll experience in the next couple of years, probably. You know.
When you talk to younger people that are wanting to get into marketing, one of the things that I keep hearing consistently is I like to be creative, but I think there's an element of I have to get things done as well, right? There's, like you mentioned, Nick and you have a good partnership where he comes up with a lot of these, sometimes crazy, sometimes what the hell were you thinking, but really good ideas. And then the time to get those ideas implemented and the time, I'm sorry, the amount of resources, people, whatever needed is much shorter now. It used to be,
Yeah.
even if you had to put a website together, you needed a designer, you needed a copywriter, you needed a HTML, CSS person, you needed someone that knew how to be able to host it. Now you can literally go to Hugging Face, go to
Yeah.
DeepSite, enter a prompt with less than 25 words, and get a complete SaaS website in 6 minutes without needing
Yeah.
any of those. That looks like a really good design. I mean, it looks templatized, so it's up to you to kind of make it look a little bit better. But so much faster, so much easier without all the headache. I was not a very good CSS HTML guy. Now, even with vibe coding, even I can do this better. Cursor
Yeah,
is just completely different compared
cursors.
to everything else.
It's crazy. Yeah. So it's like, even if you're like the mix of being creative and getting things done, if you lean on the creative side, which I think it's really great, having some knowledge of getting from 0 to 1 and then showcasing that and allowing your team to help you bring it from 1 to 10. Build an MVP because there's enough assets at your disposal where you can build pretty much any type of MVP right now in terms of like marketing project or creative ideas. You can execute the bare minimum, even if you don't know how to code. Like I don't know how to code at all. I don't know how to write a line of code, but I can build all these sophisticated systems just by being curious and just by asking.
Trying
I mean, a
stuff.
lot of people, yeah, asking GPT, relying on GPT, asking the right questions. My favorite way to solve problems nowadays, which I don't think enough people do, is screenshot and drag to GPT. And say, because like they'll be like, try to describe like the problem and what they're facing, just screenshot the problem and just say, hey, this is what's going on. I need it fixed. And that's the greatest superpower I can think of right now is just the visual aspect of it, of
Walk me
solving
through that
problems.
again. You're saying, let's say you go to an app or you go to, that was the
Yeah.
interesting thing that I saw yesterday. I think it was Reid Hoffman that took a screenshot of LinkedIn, put it into, I'm not
Into
sure where
Replit.
he put it, Replit? Yeah, and
Yeah.
said, build me a LinkedIn. And there was
Yeah.
not one single detail missed. It just
Yeah.
built the
It's
whole damn
nuts.
thing.
It's nuts. So that's one use where you're taking a visual image and replicating it for one of these no code builders. But the day to day use case that I use is anytime I'm trying to use an app or do something new or hit a bug or figure out a process, and I have a question like, oh, this didn't load right or I got an error. I don't go into GPT and say, oh, I got this error. I just take a screenshot, I drag it and say,
Fix it.
here, please fix it. Yeah. And so there's no loss, there's no like lost in translation between the error and my, just poor description of it. It can see the image. It says, oh, I see exactly what's wrong. This is what's wrong. This is how you fix it. This is what you do. It's just such a simple process now that and it cuts the time to adjustment like significantly, right? So
Yeah.
that's and I think that's, and you do that by using this tool called, or I use this tool called Clean Shot, where it's in, when you take a screenshot and
Yeah.
it'll sit in your bottom corner, then it'll go away onto your desktop and clog up your desktop, right? We don't need more files on our desktop, and so Clean Shot will just hold it there, and then you can mark it up, and then you can decide, oh, I don't need this anymore, or you can drag it to wherever you want, or you can save it. So
Is
keeps your
Screenshot a
desktop clean.
desktop app or is it a web service?
It's like a Chrome extension, and just super convenient for the drag and drops because then it doesn't save because you don't need the screenshot.
I agree
Um,
with you. I do at least 10 screenshots a day because I have
yeah,
to, take this image, put it somewhere, things of that nature. I didn't know about Screenshot. That's a good tool. I'm probably going to go check it out.
yeah,
Well, this was
yeah,
awesome. This was really, really
yeah.
good. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. I'm sure we'll have you sometime again as we see the travails of Bordy as it tries to grow and do very well and continue to do very, very well. I'm glad we had you
Yeah,
on. And when we put together these what we call GTM engineer different location meetups. So I'm sure that one time when we're out in Florida
nice.
sometime, I'll probably ping you and love to have you along with the rest of the folks. It'll be a good thing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Sounds really cool. Be fun.
Take care,
Thanks
Clark.
for having me.